we could do the what we've watched recently, but I think Blake has something on his mind that
Speaking of bowel movements,
I think that I don't know how you feel about I personally didn't want to dedicate a whole episode to it, but if you would prefer, but I don't think you would want to sit there for 40 minutes and talk.
I'll have a bad time if I have to talk about Halloween Ends for that long.
Yeah, so the secret has been revealed, and we will briefly discuss Halloween Ends.
Yes, briefly. I don't want to go too deep into it right now. I have a schwitz.
Yes, so Blake loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 out of 5. Team Corey.
Yeah, so very, very well, it's a movie. It's
unfortunately.
What really gets me about the whole thing is like if they were gonna do an obviously spoiler alert, but if they were gonna stick,
not even if you haven't seen the movie, don't see it. So just listen to the
yeah, just listen to us. So the whole thing in the beginning with Corey and his descent into madness and the transmission of evil of Michael in the town of Haddonfield into him would have been a cool concept if it was not a Halloween movie. Like, yeah. I feel like the writers sat there and combined like a dozen different ideas into one script and were like, yeah, dope, sounds good. And halfway through shooting the movie, they were like, oh, wait, it's a Halloween movie? Yeah. So like now we have to tie the universe together.
What's so crazy to me is like, this is the third movie in a trilogy. Like, why are we trying new ideas at this point? Like, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
the whole movie is advertised as the climactic final showdown of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and then most of the movie is not about that.
And they knew damn well what they were doing with that marketing, and they definitely. Here's the thing, I usually applaud people for trying something new, but like
there's a time and a place.
But like you said, when you're wrapping up the third reboot at the end of a new trilogy, and it's about Michael versus Laurie, which arguably, and not even arguably, is probably the greatest fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Is the greatest rivalry in horror history.
I would say second only to Freddy versus Jason.
Well, yeah, right. But it's they knew, excuse me, they knew exactly what was on the line, and it's like, I don't know. There's only so much, you know. I'm gonna say this right now. I don't think it was like the fucking worst movie I've ever seen. Right? This has been very divisive. However, I mean, I've been going back and forth whether or not this or the second Rob Zombie Halloween is worse. I still think the second Rob Zombie one might be worse, but
I think the second Rob Zombie one might be an objectively worse movie, but I was more disappointed in this.
Well, right, because of what was at stake. Yeah,
one, I felt like they straight up just like falsely advertised it. Yeah, you know, like it was just like, what is this movie?
Honestly, what they really should have done is taken this concept and made this kills, and then set up for the final.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a bizarre choice for a third movie in a trilogy. Like, why they should have done this in 2018? Set up Corey to be like a rival to Michael Myers, and then like you know, go from there with the trilogy. But that too, I was like, oh, maybe they're trying to like set something up after this, but then Michael kills him anyway. So it's like, what was the point of that?
Well, right. That was the most disappointing part, is I figured like, oh, this kind of maybe leaves the door open to a spin-off, or maybe they're going to actually do something good with this character in the future. But then they just dropped the ball on that. And I'm like, I mean, okay. And it's like, I could maybe forgive all this inconsistency between the writing and the character shit and fucking Allison, but we won't even get into that because that just angers me.
Yeah.
I could maybe forgive all of that if there were more than like 3 kills in the whole movie. Like, it was like, I go to a slasher flick to see kills. And it's like, now we just have this weak, feeble Michael Myers. and
living
this,
in the sewer.
and this unhinged hot topic teen who has watched Heathers way too many times and wants to burn the town down, figuratively, literally, whatever translation you want to adhere to, and it just doesn't work. It comes off like too cringy.
It honestly made me reassess how I felt about Halloween Kills, because obviously I didn't like that either, but compared to this, I'll take another Halloween Kills. At least that had Michael Myers killing people in it.
At least
like one argument that annoys me, like I keep seeing people say like, oh, well, in the original movie, like Michael had just as much screen time as in this one. And it's like, first of all, the original movie is 20 minutes shorter. So already you can't really compare it. And second, Michael has less time on screen in the original one, but he is the focus of the movie. In Halloween Ends, he is not the focus of the movie. So he has this tiny amount of screen time because the rest of the movie is just not about Michael Myers.
And third of all, the reason he doesn't have a lot of screen time in the first movie is because you have to build up exposition. It was the first movie in the entire franchise.
Right.
Like,
this is the third movie in a trilogy.
Yeah. Like,
and like the 90th Halloween movie.
Yeah. So,
it's just not comparable. I keep seeing people say that, and it's like, the comparison doesn't make sense.
No. And I agree with you on Halloween Kills, because say what you want about it, at least it was a Halloween movie.
It was a slasher movie.
It was a Halloween movie.
It was a slasher movie, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe I was too harsh on that.
Yeah. So in summation, not really happy with it.
Yeah.
But
I could go on and on, but I don't want to, because it's just going to upset me.
We'll save your sanity.